Hello, dear viewers. I, as always, am Lio Convoy. Let me go ahead and get this link copied and spread out. Let's see here. Hope you're all doing well today. I don't know why the thumbnail is the wrong one. I guess I'll have to fix that later. Hello, Michael. Good to see you here. Let me figure out what's going on here with that. YouTube Studio. Content. Live. We go ahead and change this because for some reason it's the wrong thumbnail. Oh, it's because the file's too big. Fantastic. Give me a second here. Let me go ahead and change that file. Because apparently this thing wants to be stupid with me. No wonder people weren't hopping in. They saw the thumbnail and thought it was an old stream. Brilliant. Just brilliant. Why did it do that? This week's been a mess. We'll begin shortly. File save. Save, yes. And let's try this one more time. Go away. There we go. Alright, so getting into them, you said hello further one. Hey Grim, hello Blue Hero, Fearless Wolf, Aquamarine, Wendy, Kier. Alright, so you get to hear the ramblings and rantings of an old man today, more so than usual, because, and this is something that I know other people are dealing with because I'm in collector groups. I have friends that do this as well. And let me give you a little bit of background here. I've been collecting things since I was a kid, right? And even when I was younger, I could find things. If it was an exclusive, whatever. Keep in mind, when I was first collecting, I was literally a child. I did not have a vehicle. I did not have online access. I didn't have anything like that. And still, I could find exclusives to stores by just going into the store and getting them. Let me give you a little bit of background on what I'm dealing with modernly. There are specific figures I am currently looking for. As of this morning, I was looking for the Rise of Evil 2-pack for the Masters of the Universe Origins line. Let me go ahead and pull that up. This is what that looks like. Now, full disclosure, I did wind up finding one. However, and I need to stress this, online order information, if you were to go on Target's website, because that's what this is exclusive to, it does not give you accurate counts. They do not update in live time, and scalping has been crazy right now. So, I live in Houston. Now, Houston is massive. And for those of you who don't live in Houston, you really don't understand that. So let me go ahead and give you a measurement here. Let's see here. Mileage. Diameter. Okay. The diameter of Houston, generally, is 50 miles. And that's the metro, right? Meaning from the center of Houston to a circle, from one end of it to the other, it is 50 miles. I live in the northern part of Houston. I had to go to the southern part of Houston, meaning I drove for an hour today. No, not Planet Houston. I live in Houston. I had to drive for an hour today to find this Rise of Evil 2-pack. Now, granted, I used to live in Brenham, Texas, so driving a while to find stuff, that's not unusual because I lived in a small town. However, Houston has like 20 Targets and more Walmarts. The Target that said this had it in stock, that was closer to me, which was still 30 minutes from me, didn't have it, despite them saying online they did. So I wound up going to the Pearland one, and I was able to snag one, and it was the second to last one. They could not even get it onto the shelves. It had to be pulled directly from the back stock room, and it was taken from there. And the only reason I was able to get a hold of one was because, number one, the gentleman that I called, because I cannot just go to all these places. I cannot go to all these places. I have to call ahead of time because there's too many of them. He was kind enough to hold it for me. I just needed one for my personal collection. I'm not a scalper. I'm not a reseller. Often, I will resell things like that I'm tired of, but I don't scalp with them. I used to be able to travel to Houston, specifically on a 1960 strip. This is when I lived in Brenham. And toy hunt whenever I was looking for something. And it was fun. I would take friends with me. Specific story I'll get into here shortly that I think you all might enjoy. And generally, while I may not have always found things, like everything I was looking for, I found the majority of it. Like I would go to a Target on 1960 when I first get off 290, and it might have one figure from the wave I'm looking for. So that tells me the wave's out in that area. So I go to the other Target, the other Walmarts. At the time, Toys R Us was there, and I was able to find what I was looking for. Even when there were other exclusives, like Target had the 25th anniversary Ninja Turtles exclusives that reissued the original Playmates toys. Yeah, I found all 4 Turtles, and there were plenty still on the shelves. Everyone got what they needed. Cut to now. The things I am currently looking for. No longer am I looking for the Rise of Evil 2-pack, but I'm also looking for, and we'll get into this as well, I am looking and have been looking for a very, very long time, for about a month, for the Ninja Turtles in Disguise 4-pack. Now, NECA, they make very well sculpted figures. Their Ninja Turtles line is absolutely phenomenal. Specifically, both their movie line and their cartoon lines. Very well done, very accurate. The plastic is questionable, and I really wish they'd step up their quality control and use plastic that doesn't suck. But their turtle line, their Toon Turtle line, is exclusive only to Target. Now, having an exclusive toy line is not unusual. This has happened for years. Like, you might find the toy line specifically sold only at a Walmart or only at Target. The problem is the low number of these things that are sent to each store. You might get 2 or 3 of these each store. What happens to them? Well, either somebody scalps them, and we found evidence that it's not just, toy collector scalpers. Target employees have done it. NECA distributors have done this. And this is reports you're getting from different groups, from different people, as well as at least a couple of incidences where you can see them on camera. One lady was able to get a hold of one of these 4-packs when the NECA vendor was removing them from the shelf to hand off to a Target employee. And I do not believe for a moment it's because a Target employee wanted to hold them in the back, because there is no one limit per customer on these. Probably should be. Let's see here. So are they actually making more money by making less of these? I don't know. Because I think maybe if they do a lower production run, they won't have so much back stock, which means they can sell it at a retail price and it makes them maximum amount of money without having to sit on extra product. It's a possibility. My point is the distribution is terrible, and there's no reason for them to do this. Especially considering these higher valued items he thinks people want, they very rarely offer on their online store. Toy companies, manufacturers of these things have got to modernize. 20 Targets, 18 to 20 Targets in the city. Not a single one of them actually had this in stock. And when I called. They had them earlier, 2 Fridays ago, but here's the thing. I work. I'm usually at work anywhere between 5:30 and 6:30, and I do not get off until the afternoon, at least, at absolute earliest. I don't have time to go to Target as they open at 8 o'clock to try and find this $125 toy set. So what happens? Scalpers get a hold of them, or somebody undercuts and sells them. So now I'm looking at the possibility of paying $300 for this thing instead of the retail amount. And yes, NECA has said they're going to do this in 3 waves, and the third wave is going to be bigger than the first and second combined. But that doesn't mean dick if the first and second is small, and then you put out one that's bigger, that's only bigger by a small portion, that still doesn't get all the way out there. I still have never once seen on shelves the April Foot Soldier 2-pack. Never once saw it. And Houston's not a small city. So that's my collecting woe right now. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. So let's talk more about exclusives. So we had that. Now, exclusives, again, they're not unusual. They're not abnormal. But what is abnormal is when you have mainline characters that are exclusives. Let me give you an example. In the late 1990s, there was an exclusive to Walmart for Beast Wars. It was Transmetal Rat Trap in blue and black instead of red and brown. This was a Walmart exclusive. And yet we could find it, we could actively find it. It was shipped in their product, and you can still find them at a decent price, even on card now. I think he's like $50 when I looked. Could be wrong on that, but that was a while ago. The original Transmetal Rat Trap was sold all over the place. So this was just a, hey, neat color variant exclusive, go have fun. What they have been doing, specifically for Transformers, they've been making mainline characters, the ARC crew, and even Decepticons, store exclusives, or online exclusives. Alright, so if I were to ask you to name, no, Graham, my picture's not supposed to show right now. If I were to ask you to name part of Optimus Prime's, crew, who would you name? You name Jazz, Cliff Jumper, Bumblebee. But you'd also name, Ironhide and Prowl, right? Those are 2 very well-known G1 characters. Well, about them, the Earthrise Ironhide and Prowl, which are their Earth forms, their most well-recognized forms, were an Amazon exclusive. $60 on Amazon. I got one, sure. A lot of people didn't. This has not been offered again at retail, not on Target, not at Walmart, not even online on Hasbro Pulse, and we'll get there. Right now, this thing is sitting at close to $300 in some aspects on the secondary market. Good point, Wild Times. Ratchet is also an exclusive, also on Amazon. I didn't put him up here, but we'll get to there. They never restock these, but they're Amazon exclusives. And it's not just them. All right, so you have the Decepticon jets. You have Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp, but you also have the 3 Coneheads, right? Durgen Ramjet. Well, about them. Thrust and Dirge were also Amazon exclusives. So if you didn't get them on Amazon, you had to look for them. And what's worse off is, all right, so you have, Durgen Ramjet here. But Thrust was an exclusive too. And he was an exclusive at Target. I had the hardest time finding this. I finally got a hold of him. Oddly enough, when I got a hold of this, I was also able to find the Toon Krang and Splinter Baxter Stockman 2-pack. You're right, further one. See, Skywarp was also an Amazon exclusive, and there's no way I'm getting him. He's $200 to $300. I'm not paying that much for a $30 toy. These are still mainline characters. Are they in the normal run for every other place? No. Are they offered online on the Hasbro Pulse store? No. They're exclusives. And if you didn't get them and you don't have them now, you're done. You're never going to have a complete collection. You're not going to have these well-known characters, these mainstay characters that are produced every single line that there's a Seeker Jet. They make these characters. You're not going to get them. They are making it as hard as possible to collect these for no reason. What is the benefit here? And that's not even speaking of the distribution itself. So let's go ahead and talk about the distribution. So, where is it? If anybody has walked in a Walmart for the past decade, this is what the shelf looks like. Leandro says, why? Why does there need to be store exclusive? Why toys need to be store exclusive? Why Hasbro thinks kids care where they get their toys? Well, here's the thing. I can understand if it's like a one-off repaint or just a fun recolor that they throw in as a store exclusive just for funsies, right? But don't do it with Don't do it with mainline characters. Don't. You see, the thing is, John, that would make sense if Hasbro was making more money, or NECA, or any of these, or Mattel were making any more money with the exclusives than they are with their regular toys, and they're not. They're not the ones that are doing well on the secondary market. It's always somebody else. So this is how the shelf looks, right? This was in earlier August. This was in earlier April. Nothing for Transformers. And here's a picture I took a few months ago from my local Walmart. And this isn't just located to me. You ask any toy collector to walk into his Walmart and take a picture. This is what it looks like. So Hasbro has been asked about this because this has been going on for years. Even at BotCon, people said, what's going on? Why are we having a hard time finding these things? Their answer is always, we don't handle distribution. We can't answer questions about distribution. So tell me, cocksucker, if the company that makes these doesn't know about their distribution, who does? Who's getting this product? Walmart apparently isn't. Neither's Target. So I want to know, Hasbro, Mattel, all of you, why? Why? So Hasbro has that problem, and I don't even collect Modern Joe. I feel really bad for those people. I feel sorely bad for G.I. Joe fans because they are getting screwed left and right and every way forward because they do not have good distribution of their classified line, which was going to be, the big thing. Now you can't find that either. You never could to begin with. It is a joke. They have constantly said, well, kids don't buy toys. Now mostly adults do. So do they make sure adults, the people with money, are able to get them? No, they make it extremely difficult. So I said we would get to Hasbro. So let's go ahead and get to Hasbro here. So I don't have an image up here. I'm not going to throw one up currently, but everybody generally knows what Hasbro Pulse is. Hasbro Pulse is their exclusive website where you can pre-order toys directly from Hasbro. And you can pay $50. I can't remember if that's a year or a month, but $50 to give you exclusive ability to pre-order early or free shipping, right? Their stuff still sells out in seconds. Seconds. They don't even look at the number of people that have that ability to order through their Pulse line, through their special edition. Like, they pay you money to be part of this group. They don't even look at that and adjust their numbers properly. They just throw things up there and it'll sell out in seconds, and now you've paid $50 for nothing. And on top of that, you don't get the figure before other people because they've signed specific contracts and deals to where they're never going to undercut retail. Retail that doesn't show up. Or when it does, it gets scalped. You are paying for nothing. Hasbro is suckering you, and we're letting it happen. But Hasbro's not the only people doing it. Let's talk about Walmart. All right, so, class, you can tell me how pre-orders work. You pre-order the item. Sometimes you pay for it up front. Sometimes you pay for it when it ships. The vendor sees that there are this amount of pre-orders, so they put in an amount for that many of X thing, and then you get pre-order when it comes out. Big Bad Toy Store has been doing this for like 20 years now, and it's a smaller company than Walmart. So I'm curious. Let's take a look at this. This has been happening to collectors for the He-Man line for a while now. Masters of the Universe Origins has created a playset. This basically Castle Grayskull redone a little bit for the line. And they are getting pre-orders canceled. Canceled. Left or right. Not moved. Canceled. Now, this is somebody else's that they put up online. But I've had it happen, too. And you want to know how bad distribution is? Let me tell you. I pre-ordered the Masters of the Universe Origins Scare Glow. Specifically Scare Glow because I knew he'd be scarce afterwards. I pre-ordered him in August. In October, I got an email from Walmart to cancel my order. Now, keep in mind, that means he was released in October, right? You know when I finally saw Scareglow on the shelf? Keep in mind, released in October. When I finally saw in person a Scareglow on shelf. Today. That's how bad their distribution is. That's how bad it is when it comes to creating more than just one wave. And here's the thing. I know Mattel can do better in their distribution because they have previously. Now, I want to address this. I am 35 years old. I'll be 36 in August. The He-Man toy line is older than me. Factually. Mattel has had the ability to manage this brand for 40 years now. I only had to touch a hot stove once when I was a kid to learn my lesson. So the original He-Man toy line died because of a lack of show and also because they were getting a bunch of the same characters all the time. And kids wanted different characters and they didn't get them. So nobody bought them. Happened in 2000X as well. The early 2000s when you had that He-Man line. People wanted Evil Lyns. They wanted all these other characters. What did they get? Gold color He-Man, disco color Skeletor. Have a Skeletor He-Man variant. So that line died there too, for the same reason. Today, when Motu Origins first hit out, when Masters of the Universe Origins first put out, yeah, it was hard to find them a little bit. Now keep in mind, this was back in, I think, September? Now, you can walk into a Walmart, and all you'll be able to find is He-Man and Skeletor clogging the shelf pegs. Clogging them. Mattel can do better because they keep sending these because they've learned nothing. 40 years and they still don't get the memo. They still haven't learned their lesson. They still overstock on He-Man and Skeletor. To this day. Haven't learned. How dumb do you have to be one of the, if not the biggest toy manufacturer and distributor on the planet, and you are too stupid to learn the lesson? Everybody has He-Man and Skeletor. Everybody has a Battle Cat. They have all of the first wave, every bit of it, including the Sky Sled. Guys, what hasn't been seen very often is literally every other wave. And for the record, 4 have been dropped so far. How many have you seen in your area? I've seen a little bit of wave 3, and today I saw, what was that, wave 2? Nothing else. And on top of that, then they try to screw us over with other store exclusives, like Walmart has a store exclusive Panther that's flocked like the original was, which you have to pay an extra $15 for. I'm not paying $45 for a brand new, modern, flocked Panther. I could pay that, less than that, for a complete vintage one. Not going to happen. Sorry. Especially when you don't even give them ankle articulation because you're stupid. This is getting old. It's getting to the point where people are just making memes about it. Right? Ninja Turtle 4-pack. Keep in mind, these are being sold aftermarket anywhere from $270 to $350. And people, $350. People are buying it. They no longer manufacture anything. Then who does? Oh, the factories distribute. So people in Vietnam. Fantastic. That's brilliant. We're getting tired of this. And here's the thing. If it was just collectors getting tired of it, who cares? We're all a bunch of dumb nerds. The employees of these stores don't like this either. I'd imagine by now every Target employee in the electronics and toy section is tired of being asked where the Ninja Turtle 4-pack is, or the Punk Frogs are, or the G.I. Joe Classifieds, or the Rise of Evil 2-pack. They don't like exclusives. These stores aren't benefiting from it. The companies aren't benefiting from it. Everybody's getting screwed. The only people who win in this are scalpers. That's it. And when NECA has a high dollar item or a highly popular item, they gloss over that to offer other things on their website. They could easily sell these on their website as well. They're choosing not to. Here's one NECA item almost everybody and their mom has seen or had, and that's the Splinter Baxter Stockman 2-pack. So instead of taking April and Foot Soldier or Casey and whatnot for the tune line for, by the way, the month of April, which is supposed to be an April takeover via their website, who they offer pre-order for? Splinter and Stockman. People can't even give those away right now. Everybody has them. And it's not like NECA has anything warming the shelves. I can tell you this by example. I went to my local Walmart about a month ago and saw this right when they opened. and saw that they had like a whole bunch of Movie Turtle 2-packs. None that I was looking for, unfortunately. And they had the Shadow Master Super Shredder. I went back later that day. I keep in mind, they had about 10 Super Shredders, about 10 of each of the 2-packs. They were all gone. All of them. These are $50 to $30 each, and they were all gone. NECA doesn't have Ninja Turtle items that sit out there, with the exception of maybe that Stockman Splinter 2-pack. They sell out. They're taking no risk. But we still have to deal with it. I have been struggling in terms of collecting, not just ethically, but my time. Today I spent 5 hours trying to find these things. 5 hours. And what did I find? I found the Rise of Evil 2-pack. That's it. $30 worth. Glad I found it. Not going to deny that. But all that time I could have spent doing something else. I could have been making more content for you guys. I could have been working on my art. I could have done things around the house. I can't keep doing this. You're right, Further, and that's not even taking into account fuel. And I'm not the only one here. These other collectors are getting tired of this too. We're not getting younger. If these toy companies we just want to give these people our money for things we want. And they are making it as difficult as possible to do so, and I am tired of it. You know, years ago, I used to be extremely hard. Let me go ahead and change the meme, because this one's pretty funny too. I used to be extremely hard on third-party Transformer stuff. I didn't want to do anything to do with it. I didn't want any of that. But in recent years, I've had to shift my focus. Because yes, legally speaking, Hasbro has the intellectual property rights. But two things. Number one, third-party stuff's been around for over a decade now. Almost 15 years. Matter of fact, to this day, I think 15 years. And Hasbro, only in the past few months, has stepped up any aspect of their game, but also raised prices doing so. Was still giving us less stuff. If you are a Fortune 500 company, and you cannot compete with a smaller company, or absorb them, learn from them, bring on some of their people, which is what Hasbro used to do, then you've lost the plot. You've failed. So, going forward, as I said in the Unicron video, which I still have to do a review of that behemoth whenever he comes in, because I feel like if I don't, there's not going to be anybody who's going to review it honestly. After Kingdom, I'm done being a completionist. I might collect the occasional really cool looking Transformer from Hasbro, but I'm done. It's not worth the hassle. It's not worth the hunt. It's not even fun anymore. It really isn't. It's not fun. That was part of toy hunting. You could go, you'd have a day where you spend just hanging out with friends, and you'd look for what you're getting, and you'd find it, and you'd post it online, and people would be like, oh, that's cool, I found it here, I found it. Now it's not, I found this here, it's, holy crap, where'd you find that? I need that, tell me, and they're always sold out. It's not fun anymore. So I'm going to start investing more in third party, and I'm also going to start going for some vintage things. Like I recently picked up the original Burning Convoy figure from Beast Wars 2. That's coming on Monday. I'm not going to stress myself out about this anymore. Have any of you been told by Target or a Wall F employee that distribution proper toys because of the COVID? Yeah. It was way, way worse during COVID, but it's always been bad for the past decade. For example, when they did the Power Ranger Redux, the 2010 version, with all the goofy little comic effects, and they made a brand new Mighty Morphin line with a brand new Megazord that eventually became the Legacy Megazord mold. I went out with my brother because he was down to visit, and in a day I found everything. I found all 6 Rangers, I found the Megazord, I found all that. Just a day's worth. That's it. Can't do that now. Let's see. And products that are inferior quality in comparison, like Planet X Vulcan or Solar Chogokin Optimus. Solar Chogokin Optimus. There's a Solar Chogokin Optimus? I don't think that's true. When third-party companies should not be able to compete to this extent with Hasbro or Takara or any of these. There are times Takara, not Hasbro, but Takara blows third party out. MP44, I believe, is the quintessential version of Optimus Prime. I know Jobby disagrees, and that's fine. I still enjoy his content. But you can't rely on that. When somebody else is doing better with your property than you are, there's a problem. Hasbro never made the X-Beast King Zord. I don't know which one that is. And now it's going to get worse. Because these companies are concerned with product name and likeness. They're not concerned with trying to get things done. They're not concerned with actually getting you this stuff. If they were, they'd be easier to access. I give these toy companies only a few more years at selling nostalgia toy lines. We will get old or die off, and kids today will not know the toys because they've never seen them on the shelf. That's also highly true. If a kid wants to go buy a Roblox toy, they're there. They're always there. You can't do that about Transformers. Only recently have I seen actual Transformers Kingdom toys do more than sit there for half a day. And that's if you can find them. Their distribution's garbage. And all it would take, if you were smart, and I mean actually smart, not boardroom smart, actually smart, all you'd have to do is appeal to the collectors. They are willing to do at least a little bit of footwork. If nothing else, the NECA Toy Ambassador thing has proven that. All you have to do is say, hey, can you take a picture of your shelves and tell us what store this is? And then you get a data spreadsheet pinpointing all these stores, finding out what product you had sent to them, how quickly they sold out, and then you adjust based on that. For example, I have never seen in any of these Houston stores Clamp Champ for the He-Man Origins line. But some other dude on the other side of the doggone country, who stores tend to sit on product because he's in a small area, had an entire stack of Clamp Champs because their distribution isn't paying attention. And Mattel can do that. Hasbro can do that. Anybody can do that. You just have to know how to work social media and work a doggone Excel spreadsheet, which is supposed to be standard for business and corporational things, but they're not smart enough for that either. And on top of that, there's Hasbro's other guffaws. So we've gotten reissued G1 toys. We've gotten now reissued Beast War toys. We've gotten reissued Star Wars toys. We've gotten a whole slew of stuff that has been reissued. One line that hasn't ever been reissued is G.I. Joe. They keep putting out stuff from the 25th anniversary, but the vintage Joes are breaking. Their plastic was not made to survive this long. If Hasbro was smart, they'd do a vintage reissue. More than just the vehicles with 25th anniversary pilots that nobody wants or cares about. But they're not smart. These are boardroom idiots that have no clue about the actual zeitgeist of nerd culture. And I am tired of it. There's no Prime issue. Well, there was one. I am tired. I am tired of running around. I am tired of calling and having to bug these employees. I am tired of exclusives. I am tired of tone-deaf, brain-dead companies that don't know how to get a product out that people want. Third-party companies can do this for Transformers, so why can't Hasbro? Why can't Mattel? Why can't NECA? If NECA put online and kept it up for a month, pre-orders for their stuff that actually came out on time, they would lose nothing. They're actually upgrade kits on eBay. You know, here's the kicker. I want to address that. I like upgrade kits. I do. Always did. Even when I was hard on third party, that was an exception. But if I had to buy an upgrade kit that's equal or greater than the value of the original toy, what's the point? Like, for example, I have the Japanese version of the Titan's Return Optimus Prime, the one based on the Power Master look, right? Well, to make him look really good, I had to get a Perfect Effects, for lack of a better word, Jinrai, right? Turns from cab to robot. And then I had to buy another add-on kit. And then I had to buy the add-on kit for God Bomber. So I was looking at $70 worth of add-on stuff for a $50 figure. Does it look good? Sure. But is it worth it? I could have just bought, like, God, what's the name? I have a third-party Power Master Optimus Prime here. It's the one everybody knows about. But I could just spend another $175, and when it's reissued, get the God Bomber for that. And it's going to look 10 times better. Maybe not as playable as the original Power Master Optimus Prime, which is something I enjoy. But if I'm going to sink in money, I might as well sink in money on things that are looking good automatically out of the box without anything else added to it. What are you doing, guys? And if Hasbro was really smart, they'd subcontract, get the rights to those things from the people who made them, the third-party add-on kits, and sell them as well. But they don't do that either. And before somebody says, well, drop tests, laws, I talked to Bobby Valla. Bobby Valla, who is the owner of the Action Force license and is creating a toy line for that. And I asked him, can you tell me about laws for drop tests and all that? You know what he said? Because I have a collector's line of figures, which means 14 up, by the way, there is no drop test law. Hasbro could have been doing this whole time. And they have proven it with their Masterpiece lines that they've brought over here, which, of course, they haven't in years now because, and I want to address this. I know I'm a little scrambled right now and everything. I'm not going in line. Toys R Us died 4 years ago. If the industry has not adjusted by now, it needs to die because they're too stupid to survive. If you have not adjusted for a vacuum in 4 years, what are you doing? And it's not like it came out of nowhere. People saw it coming. Hasbro saw it coming. Mattel saw it coming. NECA saw it coming. All these people saw it coming. And instead of preparing and gritting their teeth and having a plan ready to go, 4 years later, they have nothing still. 4 years later, we're still struggling because Toys R Us died. But these are the people who want you to have faith that they know what they're doing with these lines. Don't trust any of these idiots. They have no clue. Yes, Blue Hero. Hasbro died in 2017. It's been 4 years. Correct, Neko Boy. They are coming out of touch. Part of the problem, Thundercats Wiki, part of the problem is distribution is ruled by Walmart. In many cases, Walmart was not successful by availability. Cheap was what got them here. Walmart is the wrong company to do exclusives. Correct. But Walmart's lack of product also doesn't explain Target's lack of product. You know what I mean? I'm tired. I'm not a big collector on things. And even when you look at, like, Mattel, they did Origins. Okay, Origins is fine. Overall, I have my issues. But if they're worried about money, why didn't they just reissue all the classics stuff? They proved with Origins that people will buy He-Man at retail. Nobody minds paying $25 for a 7-inch figure with several accessories. Nobody. Beyblade franchise? Well, yeah, Freeze, they've been handling Transformers, their own brand, poorly for a while, too. If they actually cared, if Hasbro had a mind for business, here's what you do. You see somebody doing something better than you, and you adapt to it, or you bring them on. It's a strength of warfare, and it's a strength in business. When an opponent does something better, you find out how they did it, or you bring them to whatever your side of the conflict is. You don't sit there and ignorantly play pretend that everything's fine. So if you can make collector-sized stuff, if you can make things that don't have to pass drop tests, why hasn't Hasbro? Because you can contact them. You can contact these third-party people. Otherwise, there'd be no press releases. Why haven't Hasbro or Takara hit up Fantoys and said, hey, I kind of like your Fantoys Sovereign. Can we work out a deal? Can we do something about this? How about I give you the official license and you pay us a royalty? Has that been done? No, of course not. Hasbro doesn't produce Zoids. That's why you haven't seen them advertise it. Actually, they did not want to reissue the classic Motu figures because they did not want to pay for the Four Horsemen for royalties. Well, somebody has to. Idiots. Mattel got me with Matty Collector of Ultron, lost the faith in Mattel. Well, yeah, that thing tries to commit suicide if you put it on a shelf because of the spring-loaded lion legs. This live stream is one of many videos I've seen on YouTube, Toy Galaxy, Junkman, all about 80s, where Collector says no longer fun to collect because... Correct. And here's the thing. Everyone you mentioned, with the exception of All About 80s, because I don't know much about him, I don't like Dan Larson as a person, and I find him a bit too, haha, aren't I clever in his videos and his sarcasm about how he treats beloved franchises. And I think Junkman makes some of the dumbest possible arguments known to man. But if you have all three of us saying the same thing, there's a problem, buddy. Do they think they can recognize or survive from name recognition alone? Yes. Yes. That's exactly what they think, Neko, and unfortunately, they've somewhat proven it. If you've seen, like, let's take a look at Super 7 and their Thundercats line. Name recognition, garbage figures, people still buy it. Still would love to know where any of these other extra waves are coming, though. It's been a year since Wave 3 was announced, and it's still not out. And you're not gonna get me to buy the factory argument anymore. Distribution is garbage. These companies don't know what they're doing, and instead of seeking knowledge, they ignore it. Something's got to change, because sooner or later, collectors are going to get tired of this, or somebody else is going to start playing the Transformers third-party game and start producing likeness figures made in China that will avoid copyright law, and these companies aren't going to survive it. If you had a company do third-party He-Man stuff in China where they can't be touched, Mattel's done. And I genuinely believe that because He-Man fans are obsessive. Further one, no, I'm not a fan of Junkman. I find him to be a clown. Correct, Wolfie. Stan Solo is a good example of that. Over $20 for the Transformers. F that, and I love G1. Because people will pay for it. I had a dude in a group once tell me that, well, if you don't buy the Super 7 reaction figure, you just don't get it. If you're criticizing, you just don't get it. I'm like, no, I get it. The point is you're paying $20 for something inferior. The point is you're paying $20 for something that looks bad. Yes, that's people who want to look like they're rich by spending money on dumb things logic. Here's the kicker, though. Actual people who are rich don't stay rich because they part with their money easy. Let's see here. Thank you for being authentic. I don't know any other way to be. You can say the industry diligently did nothing. Yes, that's exactly what happened. They diligently did nothing. Never got into figures as a kid because a lot of them I just thought that they looked really ugly, not how they looked on the show. Yeah, that was a problem I had with some things too. I thought this back in like 2010 when I was 9 years old. Fair. And, you know, distribution, like Bandai had that problem with the 2011 Thundercats line. Bryan and College Station are two cities in Texas that are maybe like 10 minutes apart from each other. You could go to the Walmart in College Station. No Thundercats. Go to the one in Bryan, Thundercats galore. To this day, I'm still only missing like one figure from that line. Otherwise, I'd have a complete collection of 2011 Thundercat stuff. And when they were pointed out, hey, guys, what's going on with the distribution here? It's like, well, talking to us, you guys need to get a hold of the stores and tell them you want our products. I'm like, that's not my job. That's your job. Imgo can be fun. Is his tone. And I've noticed with a lot of collectors, they get this tone. Let's see if I can replicate it. Hey guys, I'm here to review da-da-da-da. And this thing is really cool. Like, all of its features, they all do that specific talking voice, and it doesn't seem honest with me. I have not seen the Final Fraction line because I don't go to Dollar Tree, but I've heard good things. Isn't there some Transformers direct from China knockoffs being made that are pretty good? I think all the things 80. Yes, they've been doing that for years, though. Like, this has been going on for a long time. You know, the thing is, people keep making the argument about kids and, well, do kids buy toys? People are always going to want a physical representation of something they like. And if you don't believe kids buy toys, I mean, it's not adults buying the Fortnite figures or the Roblox figures. It's kids, man. I think the hyper positivity in Major Tom is to please the algorithm. That's why you're never gonna have Pixel Dan actually tell you something sucks. Thoughts on comic and toy stories? Do have figures new but rebudget too high and seem scamming? Okay, I don't know what that means. Are you talking about comic stores selling collector figures at a higher markup? Is that what you're referring to further? Okay. Yeah, that's a problem too. But at the same time, they probably had to fight tooth and nail to get that thing. Like, okay, if I'm paying a guy because he found a figure. Let's say um, a dude wants 175 for the Ninja Turtles in Disguise 2-pack or 4-pack. I would pay 175 for that. Why? Well, its retail is 125, which means you have the 8% tax here in Texas, which is going to bring it up to, you know, over 130. And then I have to factor in his fuel. And then I'm going to pay the man for his time. Because that's just honest. That I don't believe is scalping. 270 to 300, absolutely, but like 175, no. And I would be willing to pay that so I don't have to deal with this anymore. And if I'm willing to pay somebody else to do something I can do because it's frustrating and because it wastes my time, that should tell you all you need to know. They're not blaming each other, Michael. They're blaming some mystical other thing. They'll just never take responsibility themselves. And if you were to tweet at NECA for any of the stuff, like I put a post on my page on Facebook, Lio Convoys Leisures. NECA, if you tag them in anything, it automatically untags them. I don't know how they do that, and I don't know why. Like, I had a friend test it too. So I tagged them in the initial post, immediate untag. I tagged them again in the comments, immediate untag. And they don't have me blocked. And then my friend tagged them, immediately untagged. I don't know how NECA did it, but they made it to where if you tag them, it will not stick immediately. No accountability. Now, I do know that the guy who owns NECA also owns Elvis Presley Graceland, at least partially. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Maybe does the Presley brand just not have any sort of accountability? It wouldn't surprise me. But it's getting ridiculous. eBay exclusives, correct. That tends to be what it's like. Might as well be eBay exclusives. Also, I'm fiddling with this Keldor figure from the Rise of Evil 2-pack, and I really hate cloth, or not cloth, I really hate plastic capes. Like, good God, it's bad. I have thought about that recently. What does your time cost now to hunt for a figure? $5 an hour, 15 more? That could be a heck of a markup on some of these. To a point. Like, again, I don't mind paying a man for his time. NECA, the turret, Teflon done, nothing sticks? Yes. That's horrible awareness on it. Uh-huh. Nothing sticks. They won't take accountability. And they're happy to admit that, our toys, you can't mess with them right out of the box. You gotta do work on them first. It's ridiculous. eBay or Mercari exclusives. Now, to their credit, a lot of the toy groups I'm in, if somebody shows up trying to sell that 4-pack for an absurd amount, they make fun of him and kick him out of the group because scalpers are... Like, if you thought back in the 80s and 90s scalpers weren't liked, oh man, they are really not liked in the modern age. Like, nobody has the tolerance for those idiots. Yeah, so the TMNT 4-pack costs about $125 at retail. Which I can defend. Let's assume that every single Ninja Turtle figure generally is $25, right? Because they're 7 inches. 4 figures, $2,500. Then you have all the other extra stuff that comes in there. It might make another $25 off of it. They come with a lot of stuff. PS5 scalpers. Oh, I don't even go for modern video game systems at this point. Even I know about that. Is Captain Rex Star Wars figure worth $100 for that buck? I don't know anything about Star Wars figures in the modern, so I couldn't tell you. At that point, isn't that Going from being a toy collector to a model maker. Might as well be. I'm just tired, guys. I'm tired of this. I could have been doing other things with my time all week for the past 2 weeks instead of trying to hunt these things. So clothing forces people to become scalpers online. That doesn't surprise me because that is absolutely manufactured scarcity. And who knows? Maybe these big business morons who have degrees are just watching other brands and other retail stuff like clothing and saying, "Oh, well, we need to ape that except with toys." What a bunch of morons! Sooner or later, the corporate world has to come to an understanding, even if it takes them dying to do so, that having a degree doesn't mean you're smart. Hunt, hunt, hunt. He's the hunt's man. God. What going to do next? I don't know. Again, with Transformers, I'm probably going to just start looking at some vintage stuff that I wanted when I was younger and didn't get, or more heavily invest in third-party stuff and take a good look at that, because I'm not getting much out of modern stuff, and being a completionist there hasn't done me a lick of good. Hasn't done my blood pressure any good. Oh, you mean on the channel? Well, if I had the time tomorrow, I'm hoping to do a small review of the Demon Slayer movie that the wife and I saw last night. And then I've got a pretty big channel project coming out, hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so, depending on time. And oddly enough, May is going to be a drama month. I'm going to be covering a bunch of stupid people on this channel. Thoughts on Bionicle and Beyblade? I don't have thoughts on those. I have a friend who's really big into Bionicle, but I know very little about them. And I know even less about Beyblade. I have a feeling dying is the only way they will learn, even true. Sad thing is they will never care about the escalators, but they should because we make the money. Also, I'm tired of seeing Funko Pops everywhere. How are they always stocked, but Funko's other products aren't, or other collector products aren't? I switched 100% vintage. You know, I can't really do that. I can't do 100% vintage. Because, number one, I collect Thundercats, and the ones I'm missing are the Tungosaurus and the Stinger and the Stilt Runner. If I'm not mistaken, I think those are 3 things I'm missing. And holy crap, those are expensive. Last Tungosaurus I saw went for $1,200 out of box. No, sir. I like Thundercats. I don't like it that much. If I had a choice between spending $1,200 on production material from the original show or $1,200 on a toy, I'm going with the production material. And that's another thing. I'd like to pick up more stuff like that, more animation cells, more production material. I can't do that if I keep spending money on plastic. Is there anything good for your blood pressure? Blood pressure medicine. Yes, unfortunately, a lot of people buy Funko Pops cardboard. A lot of people. Who said Beyblade? Let's see here. Which one did I ask about Beyblade? That would be Deborah David. You know, I've heard about what's going on in the Pokemon card community right now. That's why Target has like specific ways you can buy it from them now. Good God, what the heck? And that's literally paper. Do you have any predictions on how this will move forward? Will the supply and demand production issue remain a dumpster fire for the future? Probably, because we keep buying it. If everybody in the collective just said, you know what, we're not doing this anymore, or at least raised all sorts of cane on social media about it, I think they'd be forced to do something. But other than that, no. And here, I could be really mean. I'll go ahead and say this. These people who run these corporations, they're not modern. They don't think modernly. They're very stupid about that. So they think if I block all the people who criticize me, that means I'll hear no criticism, while completely forgetting that their personal information is online and the white pages exists. All you have to do is call them and give them grief. I guarantee you things will shift real quick. Oh, I can barely find Yu-Gi-Oh cards, really? For those who collected Japanese tokusatsu toys, it's pretty easy to collect, especially with Bai. You know, I can't use Bai on my computer because it won't accept the fact that I use a VPN. It's kind of irritating. Seems like Japan's doing better than America for toy collectors. I wouldn't know. I've never been to Japan. You think Transformer Masterpiece figures are going down in terms of quality? No, actually. Masterpiece figures, I'd argue, are going higher in quality and higher in complication and engineering. Like, Beast Wars Dinobot alone is a masterwork of engineering. Like, the fact that they were able to pull that off so well is insane. Where Masterpiece is failing, though, is characters. Let's see. We have four versions of Bumblebee in different repaints. We have three specific molds of Optimus Prime. The later, MP44, has two color variations. MP10 has colorations out the friggin' wazoo. MP01 has variations out the wazoo. We have three versions of Masterpiece Megatron, a gold gun version for some reason, probably for the Golden Lagoon episode. The original MP Megatron, I think that's MP08, and the newest one, which is the best one. And then we have MP, I think, 09, which is Rodimus Prime. And then we have MP Hot Rod. We also have MP Ultra Magnus, and the MP White 01 and MP10 White Ultra Magnus version. So for all the leaders of the factions, we have had at least two toys for, right? So we've had three Optimuses, two Ultra Magnuses, two Megatrons, two Hot Rods. Not a single Galvatron. Not even asked. We also haven't had Jazz. We haven't had we've only had one Dinobot. They're unfocused. Everything here is unfocused. So who do we have now? We have Skids? Who asked for Skids? Nobody asked for Skids. And 5 billion Seekers, correct. And here's the thing, I'm actually selling my Seekers at a toy show next week because I really like the new Seekers that are coming out because I'm a stickler for animation accuracy, as you all know. And I'm willing to spend $250 on animation accurate Masterpiece figures. I am willing to do that. I think they are worth it. I genuinely do. But all these characters, but again, have we seen anything about a new Beast Wars Masterpiece? Tigatron was the last that came out. We've seen nothing announced since then. So on Beast Wars, for the Predacons, we have Megatron, Black Narachnia, and a repaint of Cheetor called Shadow Panther, right? Even Wheeljack. Yes, I enjoyed Wheeljack. For the Maximals, we have Optimus Primal in 3 different variations. We have one accurate to the toy / Beast Wars second movie, the Burning one. And then we have Cheetor, we have Dinobot, we have Tigatron, and Lio Convoy. And nothing has been announced since then. It's bizarre. I really wish I knew what was going on there. G.I. Joe seems to be back in terms of demand for product. Yes, but they're not meeting the demand. If I almost say the hottest toy line country, even more so than Legends. Thoughts on Classifieds? I don't like Classifieds aesthetics, and I certainly don't like the scale. The appeal to G.I. Joe was in your ability to use them like a proper military group, to where you could put them in vehicles, you could take them in jets and adventures, and that was really cool. You can't do that with Classifieds. They're too big. And I just don't like how they look. Michael said this, and I'm glad to echo him here, and it's kind of proven why. They look like Fortnite characters. And the fact that Snake Eyes is being added to Fortnite tells you where they were going with that. Later, Cardboard. Have you seen MP Bumblebee Optimus Prime picture? They look like Fortnite. Okay. Let's see here. Thoughts on Transformers Studio Series 86 figures? Okay. I overall like them, but I have one major nitpick. They're over detailed in the sculpts. And they get away with that by on the back saying inspired by the 86 movie. The Grimlock is a fantastic toy. He's a lot of fun to play with. He looks good, but God, all that heavy detail just kind of kills it. If they had just stuck to the animation model, it would have been perfect. Been great. People are even calling them mini masterpieces because they're complex but fun. But God, they got to stop with all the detailing, man. It just kills it. What I wish they would do with G.I. Joe is they would just reissue the original toys. Wheelie isn't even that articulate. Funny thing, there's a third party person. I think he's just a random like 3D printer who's made he made an add-on for that wheelie. It's a toilet. They gave him a toilet to sit on. It's funny. I don't even care about bathroom humor. Just the entire fact that somebody went through the effort of like making that in Blender or whatever and then printing it because that toy is so bad is hilarious. I agree, Grim. The heavy detailing is just randomized. It's tasteless. That and imagine bartering with trading cards. Well, kids did that on the playground. That's not normal. Transformers, I've gone in on the red line. I just want cartoon accurate depictions, and they go on a shelf, so I couldn't care less that they don't transform. That's fine. I reviewed the red line here. It's not bad overall. It's just it's got some weaknesses that they need to shore up. Honestly, I'd still say buy the red line over whatever Super 7 Ultimates are going to be because those are going to be absolute hot garbage. Thoughts on Wei Zhang being shut down? I didn't even know they were shut down. Keep in mind, I'm just now getting into third-party stuff heavily, so I haven't done much research. What about toilets? Somebody meant a toilet for a Transformer because his legs were sculpted in a constantly squatting pose. Hasbro stated there's an interest. They will look into redoing the 3 3/4 figures again. Well, we're like, duh. If that was true, they would have put it out by now. Because if you've looked at the prices for vintage Joes, they have shot through the roof. I had to stop collecting them. And I had a pretty good collection starting, and now I had to come to a complete stop because I refused to pay $50 for a beachhead. I refuse to. I'm not going to be that dumb. I don't know why Hasbro has no interest in it. If they can reissue Star Wars and Transformers and all that, they can do Joe. Alright, well, we've been at this for over an hour, so I'll go ahead and clear out or close the stream with a story. Alright, so 2010. The 2010 Power Rangers line was out, and they had roleplay weapons. They had the blaster, didn't care about that because it was tiny. But they had a Dragon Dagger, and this Dragon Dagger was so weird. So weird because it had a little like extendable blade that came out of the bottom of the handle. You had to actually blow into the weapon to make the flute noises like constantly. So that was kind of neat. And I decided I would go toy hunting. So I took my buddy Josh. Now I want you to be aware. Josh is my man friend. Now girls, they use the term girlfriend very loosely to talk about friends that are girls. But in this case, Josh is my man friend. We became friends through combat, so he was always like the dude who would hop in and go on adventures with me. Let me go ahead and change this to quiet. I'll get to you in a bit, Rouge. And I told him, hey, I'm going to... I'll answer your question shortly, but I'm going to go... We're going to go to Houston, and I'm going to get the Dragon Dagger from Power Rangers. He's like, all right, let's go. So I go to Walmart, couldn't find it. I go to a Target, couldn't find it. I go to a second Walmart, and that's when my friend Josh is like, you're not going to find it. I'm like, I don't know why you're saying that. Like, we will eventually. So we get to the last Target on the 1960 strip. And that man said, wait, they have a new one? And I stopped and I looked at him and said, what did you think I was looking for, Josh? I said, wait, did you think I was looking for the one from 93? He's like, yeah, I legitimately thought you were looking for the Dragon Dagger from 1993. The original one. I assumed you were going to meet up with some dude who had it or something. And you know, that was just funny to me because Josh was always the ride or die dude. Still is. He's married and has a family now. We don't see each other very often. But that man was willing to go on a fruitless mission just to chill with me. He's a great guy. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and answer these questions before we close out. Wei Sheng is a KO company that makes Transformers in P scale. They got shut down by Hasbro. Well, are they a knockoff company or do they make their own stuff? Because they're a knockoff, yeah, they're going to get shut down. They will do it for 50th Joe anniversary, so yeah, I doubt that's going to happen. Print specials collection box set or something. I doubt that's going to happen. Thoughts on the new Halo figures? The new Halo figures are fantastic. I actually have several of them on the shelf here. I highly recommend them. 1993 toy. Maybe it's under the shelf. You know, the funny thing is, a couple years ago, some dude went to Target during a massive shelf moving and reset and found a Beast Machines buzzsaw under the shelf still in package. And the store still wanted retail at the time for it. Like, that's amazing. All right, well, it's been a while, and we've been going on for over an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go, and I'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Later.